As a leader, you've got to lead. And leading means getting out in front of the troops. You don't sit back there and say, go take Hill 32, boys. You get out front and say, come on, boys, we're taking Hill 32. Nobody that wasn't there can ever really understand what it was like. First of all, it is very painful to recall some of the experiences. Secondly, it is too tender to recall yours. And thirdly, by recounting my experience, it may appear that I am something other than what I am. No, I did not fear death. My main concern going into battle was that I may not perform my duties in an honorable manner. And I was mainly concerned about that because I did not want to disappoint my family, particularly my father. And I didn't want to disappoint the Marine Corps, because the Marine Corps at that time, you were inculcated in such a manner, that you had such a high respect for all, because the Marine Corps has had some very, dramatic, heroes in its background and history. And of course, that was drilled into us, as officers, that, it was up to us to uphold that. And I've always felt, that there was the Spirit, the Holy Spirit, as it's described to the Christian believers, was something that empowered me to be, something that I could not be otherwise. The other influence was my father. My father was a Methodist minister. And although he was a minister, he was one of the most manly men I've ever known. He was the captain of his wrestling team in college. He was the catcher on his baseball team. He led his bowling league the last year he was active in the ministry. He was a real man's man, and he, always, I was very close to him, and he was a very good father, to me. My father was a very courageous man. I never saw him compromise on any belief that he had. What I saw in my father's relationship with my mother helped me to not do some of the things, While I believed in God, I didn't necessarily want to live like God. So I think that while I may have believed in Him, I think the lust of my flesh would have been so strong that I would have succumbed to it if I had not had that. I'd go out with the guys, and frankly, we'd go some places we shouldn't have gone, to it. We'd go to what, we called comfort houses. They were whore houses, tell it like it is. Well, I would never go and be serviced. I'd go and I'd wait for them, there. And I'd talk to the madam, or I'd talk to some of the girls, while they were being, this, that, and the other. And, I never would participate. But, one guy never said a word in the world to me about it. Because I was, as I said, I was skinny, but I was wiry and I was tough. So they knew if they did, I'd break their arm if they ever said anything, about my not, participating. In fact, I had a madam in Shanghai once, in Singapore. She asked me not to come back anymore because I would talk to the girls, and two of the girls I talked with quit because of what, you'd say, you'd get to know them, you'd say, honey, why are you doing this, because you really were compassionate for them. The very idea. I've always had a very high opinion of women, and the very idea that they would be violated was something that was very, very distasteful to me. And to think that a woman would give herself, something, one of her most precious gifts she's had just time and time again, in that kind of situation, without any love of what, just was so distasteful for me that I'd talk to the girls about it. And so she finally asked me to not come back anymore because two of her girls had quit and gone home, because of it. Although at the time I thought I was giving up something, Because man, let me tell you, I had as much lust burning in me as any man's ever lived, And later on in my marriage, I was so grateful that I was able to carry that into my marriage, undefiled, and can enter into it the way God intended it for me.